There we go, guys, the V Max is in the building, and immediately the first thing I notice about it again it's how heavy it is. I mean, it's seriously fucking heavy bike. I know there are heavier bikes out there, but this thing, it's I forgot how heavy it is. I mean, okay, I've been riding a supermoto all day today, which is a completely different experience, but they weigh nothing, and now I've got to push around this thing, and fuck me, that's heavy. Right, let's have a look what we need to do over here. Right guys, so the V Max adventure begins right now. As many of you know, the main reason I bought this thing, it's I'm planning a European trip, anything between 2,000 and 3,500 miles. I don't know, 2,500. I don't know how. Don't have exact route yet, but it's gonna be early July, and that is the bike of choice. It's a 1989 V Max 1200, Japanese import, full power. Probably not the best choice to take across Europe, but I like a good challenge. Why not? Now, bit of an introduction to this bike. It's a Japanese import. I bought it from a company in UK who specializes in importing Japanese and American bikes from Japan and America, oddly enough. There's a few good points buying a bike, you know, imported bike, but there's a few bad points as well. The good points is I bought it cheap, well, cheaper than I would buy it over here, cheaper than bike registered in the UK, and that's probably the only good point I can think of. I couldn't afford UK prices for the V Max 1200, and I always wanted that bike, so I spotted these companies, or that specific company, and that was pretty good deal, I think. The other good point is, I guess, looking at the bike, this age and low mileage, it's actually pretty good condition. Don't really know about the internals, you know, but you buy it without MOT, without insurance, without tax, without any of these. So it's kind of a shot in the dark. But I had a chat with a salesman that works for the company, and he promised me the bike was running before they imported that to the UK, and was running very smooth. So I kind of took his word for it. It's a risk, I guess, you need to take. But you know what they say, no risk, no fun. The bad things about it is, well, yeah, I don't know anything about this bike. I have no history of it, no service history. Don't know what's been done to it, you know, apart from the obvious things. So it's a kind of risk, you know, but I'm up for a challenge. I'm aiming to put it back on the road. It's always a good fun, you know, putting the bike back on the road, especially classic fucking thing like this, you know. It's a legend in its own class. So I'm gonna have some fun doing that over the next few weeks. Hopefully there'll be no surprises. Hopefully the bike is healthy inside, because I can't really afford to have the engine rebuilt and all that shit. Obviously I will need to buy a few parts. I can see from here that the forks are leaking, so that will need some attention. I will need to drain the petrol on it. I will need to rebuild, probably clean the carbs. I will need to put some new parts and this and that, you know, all the fluids change. Basically give it a good healthy service, and then I want to do a few hundred miles in the UK on it, you know, just riding coast to coast a couple of times, visiting some friends across the country, before I actually take it on a big trip to Europe. See what happens. Now, I never actually worked on a V Max before. I never owned a V Max before in my life. This is the first time I'm this close to a V Max. Well, I've ridden one before, you know, but it's never a proper experience, you know, until you own the bike. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing here, especially V4 engine. V4, it's all of them are pretty much very compact design. They're not exactly super complex, but they're very compact. Everything is very close and tight together, so to get anywhere, I know even to the battery, you need to remove few parts. It's not easy access. Everything is very tight, and this bike is big, this bike is heavy, it's not exactly new, so I'm expecting some difficulties along the way. On top of that, I downloaded a manual for it, so obviously I'm gonna be reading that, you know, while I'm stripping specific parts down. and I watched some videos on this and that, but I know many of you commented on my previous video on the introduction to this bad boy, and I know many of you have got one, many of you have ridden one, some of you are in the owners group, you know, clubs. Some of you are currently got 1 or 2 V Maxes right now, and many of you know way more about this bike than I do. So a request to you guys, help me out. Be on my side. I'll be posting some videos. There'll be a question from me. Drop some comments below. You know, I know some of you got far more experience than I do on these things, but that's how I want to learn. You know, we're gonna get into that engine, maybe not all the way deep inside the engine, but into that bike, you know, try to learn it. You know, I know it's a bike, it's nuts and bolts, and it's very much the same principle as all the other bikes, but it's slightly different. It may have some quirky things that some of you know it inside and out. So don't be shy, drop me a comment below, any advices, you know, if you want to drop me a phone number on a private message and I can call you, you know, if I have any questions about it. That would be much appreciated. I know some of you out there, they are wizards when it comes to VMAX, and I will appreciate your help. Yeah, so today I just want to get myself familiar with the bike more or less. Probably start stripping the top part, the dummy petrol tank off, see where the nuts and bolts are going. I'm probably gonna open the carbs, see what condition they are, all the diaphragms, whether they need cleaning or not. I'm guessing they will need some kind of cleaning. If I can, I will try to avoid ripping them out, completely removing them, to clean them completely. If it's necessary, I will do that. But if I can get away with cleaning them while they're on a bike, maybe they're not bad condition. But I don't know that until I open it up. So today is a bit of a learning process. I'm gonna just play with nuts and bolts, get familiar with the bike, and that will give me better understanding for the next few days. What do I need to do about it? Right, so once again, I'm not pretending I know exactly what I'm doing here, because I don't. There's not going to be any how-to videos, how to do this in the VMAX and how to do that in the VMAX, because I have no idea. Yes, again, it's a bike, it's nuts and bolts, the principle is the same as the other ones, but I've never worked on a VMAX before in my life. This is the first time I'm working on a VMAX, and it's my VMAX, so I need to make sure I'm doing the right job. Right guys, I'm gonna spend a couple more hours over here just drinking beer and mostly looking at it. how it goes, you know how it goes, you've been there, you've done it before, and we are gonna do it again. So that's it for today. Join me in the next episode when hopefully we can tear it apart, and hopefully we can get it started at some point. It'll be good to hear that engine running for the first time. Right guys, thank you very much for watching. Appreciate your support, appreciate your comments. Until next time, thank you very much. Rock hard, have a beer, and I'll see you very soon.